Okay. Well, welcome everybody. I think we are officially live. So let's go to the comments. Janet, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you, Mac.
Marvelous stuff. So for those of you who are in the audience, give us just your names or just put your location where you're watching in from today so that we know that you can hear us and everything is loud and clear your side as well, and maybe a couple of thumbs up so that we don't go into having a long conversation only to find out later on that nobody heard us. So there's always possibilities of technical challenges, so you never know how these things can go, but I'm really excited to be on today's event with Janet Afere, who is an absolute sales guru. And one of the things I love about working with her and having known her for such a long time, if you've ever followed her posts, is the fact that she just makes everything, she makes put sales into English, so she translates very well. And puts it into very simple terms, which I really love. And both of us are, LinkedIn enthusiasts and use LinkedIn on a daily basis. So today, we're really looking forward to connecting with you, answering some questions, and also just giving you some, good insights into the basics that people get wrong, and hopefully giving you a few things that you can walk away with. At the end, I believe, Janet, we're going to give a couple of tickets away to an event that we're doing in September.
Just for the special people, so you got to be quick, but yes.
Excellent stuff. So awesome stuff. We've just had Renee say hi from Hartford, which is awesome. So welcome. So that means we are loud and clear. We've got Sam from Brentwood, who's just come in as well. Excellent stuff. So Janet, over to you. Give us a bit of an intro and what you're looking forward to through the session.
Yeah, hello everyone. So I'm Janet Afere. I'm a sales expert, and in particular, I help people close the deal. And what I love is taking kind of complicated stuff and making it really simple. So what I hope to do is demystify the bit. Mac's going to kick us off with giving us some of the basics on how to present ourselves properly, but I'm going to help you really get some ideas on how to connect with people in a more authentic way. So that they actually do want to connect back with you. So yeah, really looking forward to this. And I'm so pleased to see so many of you on here, and what a great mixture too. Do you want me to kick off, Mac?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to kick off and do the kind of next steps and just guide people as to where we're going to go, that'd be great.
Okay, so look, if you're anything like me and Mac, you're probably absolutely fed up with people proclaiming that they can give you some sort of secret strategy to get customers on LinkedIn, how brilliant they are at LinkedIn, how zillions of people use them. And then when you click on your profiles, you find out they've got a couple of months experience, hardly any recommendations. They use artificial intelligence, and they send you loads of spam. So this is where Mac and I come in. We are two people who actually use LinkedIn properly. We get results from it, and we walk our talk. So if you're frustrated because you spend loads of time writing posts and interacting, but for some reason you're not actually converting into sales, then this is the right place for you. Or perhaps you use LinkedIn Sales Navigator or pay for premium, and you're wondering why when you don't seem to be getting any business from it. Well, look, if that's you, you're not alone. And what we find is one of the most common issues on LinkedIn is people can see all their ideal clients hanging out, but they don't know how to connect with them. So give me a yes if that resonates with you, because I think for a lot of people, that's exactly the issue with LinkedIn. This is going to be interactive. I'm going to ask you to be commenting all the way through. All right, then. So what is the current situation out there on LinkedIn at the moment? Well, you can probably see loads of your ideal clients, but how do you get to have conversations with them in a way that ensures they interact with you rather than being put off? And then there's all sorts of other things too, like what should go in your post, and is my profile okay? Mac's going to sort you out there. And also, LinkedIn's not like other social media platforms, is it? There's less rainbows, less unicorns, less glitter, less cats. That appeals. And then there's all these people promising to cheat the system. They've got a secret thing. If you just spend a bit of money with them, they'll teach you the automation, the shortcuts, whatever, that will make you money. But do you know what? They seem to be the only ones making the money, not you. Or are you being pushed towards selling in a slightly yucky and slimy way? Well, we don't do that. So sit back and enjoy yourself. First of all, I want to reassure you, there's lots of ways to catch customers' attention. Your customers might respond differently to somebody else's customers. The trick is to draw them into a conversation, and then it becomes less about comparing like with like. So you will stand out in your world because you appeal to your particular type of customer, because your personality comes across, or your niche comes across, or your particular area of expertise. So the idea is, if you can position yourself correctly, you make customers want to buy from you because they understand you. So imagine that this is your reality, that you spend a sensible amount of time and money on LinkedIn, you uncover good prospects, you engage with them, and then you get them off the platform where you can talk with them like human beings and arrange whatever your thing is, the meeting, the discussion, the consultation, or whatever your sales process requires you to do. So in the comments, how would that feel if you didn't have to spend tons of time and money? If you could speak to them like human beings, if you didn't feel sleazy and yucky, how would that feel? Let me see. I think there's a bit of a lag actually on the comments. Okay, well, I'll come back to that, but I hope that will feel good. But the thing is, it's not always your reality, is it? Because it sounds great, but what really happens when you deal with human beings? Well, first of all, on any social media platform, sometimes they ignore you. Sometimes they're not interested in what you sell. They don't respond to your messages. They don't engage with your post. And then you see other people posting what looks like trivia or let's face it, rubbish. And they're getting hundreds of comments. How does that work? Which, when you provide something amazing, is incredibly frustrating. So I want you to know it's not your fault. Okay, there's nothing wrong with you. But Mac and I can show you how to turn this around. You might need to go back to basics, and we'll help you with that today. So Mac, shall I hand back to you at this point? Oh, I actually can't hear Mac.
That's what we call user error.
Is
Janet.
it? We didn't have sound on.
Yeah. So, and this is one of the things that I want to get across to people is that, if I can get this right after a few clicks and still don't hit the unmute button, anybody can do this. And, LinkedIn is a magical place. There's so much that can be done. If you just give it a chance and you just know how to. That's one of the biggest challenges I found. So, absolutely looking forward to sharing lots with you today. And, if you take anything away that's new or just kind of stood out to you, do us a favor, drop that into the comments as well. And we are saying there's a lag between the video on YouTube, looks live on LinkedIn. So, go for it on LinkedIn. But we're on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube for your viewing pleasure today. So, excellent stuff. So we are going to go through a few things today. And one of the things I'm going to go through is some top profile musts, some content strategies, and some outreach strategies, finding your target audience. So Janet is going to be covering a few things. So Janet, did you want to go through those?
Yeah, so I'm going to be focusing on successful outreach messages, also how to get clients off of LinkedIn, and then some sales conversations that any of you can have. But I'm going to whack it right back at you, Matt, because you're going first.
Awesome stuff. Well, hey, folks. So, this slide as an example, what I wanted to share is just give you a little bit of insight into LinkedIn. Now, actually, I need to update the numbers on here because we're now reaching closer to 850 million users on LinkedIn in more than 200 countries. And when you look at that, if you see the slide, you'll see loads of little red arrows where I've gone out and just giving you some insight as to which parts of the world where the major growth has been in the last couple of years. And when you think about that as an active directory, I've been in sales for over 20 years, and I remember going through the yellow pages and various hard ways of picking up the phone and dialing and speaking to gatekeepers and all kinds of things to really have to work to get to the right person. But LinkedIn is a gold mine of access that you can access directly to those decision makers, and if you know the right strategies, it's actually really easy to do that. But unfortunately, a lot of people in sales like shortcuts, and they do the spray and pray approach. So what I tend to find is, the road to success on LinkedIn is not just there's no silver bullet. For me, there are three things that intertwine in order to get your return on investment. And those are your connection strategy, your content, and your profile. But most importantly, being your profile as a starting point. Because if you've ever had anybody reach out to you and connect to you and trying to sell you a service, the connect and pitch, I'd love to hear about that. Put that in the comments. And especially if they connect with you and then you go on their profile and the profile is not up to date, there's no photograph. How does that make you feel when somebody approaches you like that? So as an example, a few people have commented today, and you will see in the feed, it will say LinkedIn user as an example. So we've got somebody from Essex over here. I'm just going to show you as an example. So it comes up as LinkedIn user. And the only reason for that is because their public profile, they haven't gone onto their own profile, clicked on the top right-hand side where it says edit public profile, so that people can actually see who they're connecting with. So when you try and connect with somebody, they're going to get LinkedIn user, no photograph, and it's going to be a little bit dodgy for them to want to connect to you, and unlikely they're going to accept your request. So you're working in the right format, setting yourself up for success is really important. And then having content that also sets you up as an expert within your field and adds value to your clients as well. Can we move on to the next one there, Janet? So I wanted to go through, one of the things on your profile that I wanted to go through as an example is your experience section. Now, so many people have their experience section. It reads like a CV, but it's very mundane, boring. It basically has the company name, a little gray box next to it, and sales director or whatever your title is. But it doesn't really give them much insight into your experience. And it doesn't help from an SEO perspective either, from searchability. So, have some fun. LinkedIn have made the platform easy to add visuals. So if you're having a look at this slide as an example, this is just on my experience section. You can go to my profile to see the live version. But on there, you'll be able to see that I've got other medium in there. So I've got, video clips, I've got articles, I've got little thumbnails that appear under my experience section, as well as some text, so that it grabs the attention when somebody's scrolling through there and they can actually see what I do for that position. Whereas most people just have company director, but they don't have any idea about your business or what you do, or the fancy name that you've decided to call your business, doesn't give enough away. So, have some fun with that. Under your expertise, go and put in things like your university degrees and diplomas and anything that you've gone and done, because alumni could be an introduction into other people that you may connect with in the future. Go and put any certification in there, because it shows that you're staying cutting edge. And then things with endorsements. So I've got to drop this in because somebody asked me this question recently, and they were talking about having endorsement parties. And I thought, well, that's a little bit crazy, really, because what you're basically saying is, hey, I don't know you, you don't know me. Let's all get together and let's endorse each other for skills we don't know. And one of the things that I always pride myself in is my dad always told me the only thing you have in life is your name and reputation. And if you're willing to just go and endorse loads of people that you've never met, and they then, one of your friends or connections that do know you take up a service from them and then turn around and say, hey, well, Mac endorsed you, so that's why I'm using your services, that impacts my reputation. So for me, it's really important to go around and make sure that you get endorsements from other colleagues, people that, if you're a coach, those clients of yours that you've coached, if you, coach in corporate companies, remember that, yes, the corporate company may be quite hard to get through the red tape and get endorsements, but you're training, to endorse the outcome of what you've been doing for them as well. And getting other experts within your own field to go and endorse you is even better, because what it will show on LinkedIn is that you have been endorsed by an expert in the field that you're in, which ultimately reflects better on you as well. And the more you have from an endorsement perspective, from a skills perspective, it's going to show up from a search result that other people believe that you are good at that skill as well. So moving on, we then have, what's the next slide there, Janet? There we go. So this is one of the things, Janet's going to go into a bit more detail on this later, but I wanted to go into messaging etiquette, because I speak on so many different stages and we talk about this all the time. And most people go, LinkedIn is quite interesting because it suggests people for you to connect to on a regular basis. So what a lot of people do is they collect connections. So they go for the vanity. And for me, it's always sanity over vanity, because, what is your network truly worth if it's literally, 30,000 connections, but you've never spoken to any of them and you haven't developed any relationships? So if you are struggling to convert your connection requests into accepted requests and start conversations, this is one of the key things I would highly recommend. Engage. Go onto their posts, go and engage. Go onto their company pages, go and engage. And I'm not talking about liking, I'm talking about adding valuable content, valuable comments that actually add value, and finish that off with a question so that you elicit a response from either the company page or from that individual, so that you can actually start a conversation within the comments. And that, from there, it's very easy to then message and going, hey, well, that's actually a really good point. I'll tell you what, I'll reach out and connect and DM you. Because then they're expecting the connection request, and your connection request conversion goes through the roof. I currently get anywhere between 85 and 100% connection request, depending on the type of campaign and project I'm working on. And that's purely because of this. Now, the next thing is the avoid the I, me, and myself. Yesterday, as an example, I had, I think 8 or 9 people that wanted to connect with me, and there was no context and no reason why they wanted to connect with me other than they wanted to sell to me there and then. And they hadn't even looked at my profile. So they hadn't even taken 30 seconds out to just have a look at who I am and what I do. So they were trying to sell me LinkedIn coaching as an example, 3 of them. And I'm sitting there going, have you actually looked at my profile? And they're talking about themselves and saying, this is how great my service is. And they go straight into the pitch. But they haven't given me any context as to why they've reached out to me, or that they've taken the time. And a lot of that will look like it's automated and it's just a template that you send out. And the less personalized it is, the less chance you are that people are going to accept that in today's day and age. So the next slide I wanted to go through with you is just a little bit of insight on some very, very basic. So on a profile side of things, a lot of people ask me this question: is it important to have my profile up to date if I've already got a job and I'm not looking for another job at the moment? But my take on this is it's really important, because you are your brand and you're a business within a business. And I've seen so many people excel on LinkedIn because of the fact that they're going and staying in touch with their competitors on LinkedIn, or with other industry leaders that work within their field, and they collaborate and they bring content out that is valuable to their users. And therefore, organizations are seeing the value you bring, not only within the organization, but externally as well. And it's also a great way just to keep yourself on the radar of those other companies that, if you're working in a place that doesn't appreciate who you are and the effort you put in, but other companies can see what a value you are from an external perspective. Janet, I'm sure you see this on a regular basis where people are looking for jobs, but they only look for a job when they've already moved on or left the company, and then it's a struggle for 3 or 4 months. And I don't understand why people do that. So, stay consistent, stay showing up, stay supporting, those senior executives within your own organization, as well as those industry leaders within your organization, so that you stay on the forefront of people's minds all the time. Make sure your profile is up to date. If you go onto your profile and you add go to click on where it says add profile section, just make sure every single section that you possibly can fill in is filled in. The more complete, the higher you'll rank on search results. And clear headline. What is the problem that you solve? So many people, I have no idea. I look at their name and then it will say director of XYZ Technologies. And it's like, okay, well, that sounds amazing. But I have no idea what XYZ Technologies does. And it's in those first 10 seconds or 3 seconds even that people make up their mind whether they're going to scroll further into your profile. So really have a look at that. And how people work with connections is, as I was mentioning earlier, engage first. Develop relationships. Don't just rush in until you feel the moment is right. And this is going to be a trial and error process for you in the beginning, but by practicing, you'll get good at this. So to give you an example, whether you're a business owner or you're looking to work for a specific company, go and make a list of the top 10 companies you want to go and work with. And if you go onto their company pages, you'll notice that most people on company pages, the likes, 90% of those will come from the people in the organization. Now, that means that if the people in the organization are supporting their company page, when you go and comment and add something valuable, they will get a notification to say, hey, you've commented on something they've liked. And that'll go into their notifications. Now, if you look at comments on most company pages, I've seen companies with huge names, and I'm not going to talk about some brand names now, but you go on there and there's 150 likes, and then you look at the comments and there's 3, and so it's a great opportunity for you to stand out of the crowd and go and show some kudos to those companies, support them, show up, add value, and by staying on their radar. And always, same thing. If you leave a comment, put something there that's going to elicit a response, so that those people that are that take the time to respond to you, it's an easy move for you to then go, hey, great comment. I tell you what, I'm going to send a connection request and take this offline and DM you. And that way, you'll get connected to those senior leaders within those organizations so much easier than normal. Go onto the company pages, look who the team is, go and follow their key team people. And I always say 3 touch points. So what a lot of people forget on LinkedIn is just because you've hit the connect button doesn't mean you're going to see them in your feed, and vice versa, they're not going to see you unless you've had at least 3 touch points. Because LinkedIn's algorithm, ultimately, is artificial intelligence, and it's trying to help you. But if you don't help yourself, it's not going to be able to help you in the best way. So if you just connect with somebody, as an example, but you don't engage with their profile, you don't look at their posts, you don't comment on anything that they do, you don't send them a DM, and you don't, the conversation doesn't go past thanks for connecting, then LinkedIn's going to go, okay, well, there's no real interest to develop a relationship here. Why should we show them more of this person if they're not really interested in developing anything? And that's a big part that people get wrong. So for me, a great little tip. So if you think about that, if you've missed out the opportunity to go past thanks for connecting with all of your connections in the last few years, use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is trying to help you, but a lot of people don't see this. They'll send you, hey, it's Janet's birthday. And then most people go, I don't want to wish them happy birthday, just leave it. Or they do the default happy birthday. And the reality is the person who you're wishing I mean, Janet, do you respond to people who just say happy birthday?
Oh, sorry, I couldn't unmute myself. I don't tend to respond to the happy birthday ones, but I'll give you a for instance. I updated a job status on my LinkedIn profile somewhere. Yeah. I've been doing some work since January, and I shouldn't have done it. I must be on about 70 or 80. Congrats on the new job. And it's not personalized. It's just that they've used the selected LinkedIn option. So congrats on your new job. I respond, so I say thank you, but the ones I have a conversation with are the ones who took the trouble to, I don't know, write the whole word congratulations or say something specific. They're the ones I engaged with.
And it's such a simple thing. This is not rocket science. It's literally just putting that personal touch. It takes an extra 2 or 3 seconds to just go and say, hey, Janet, I hope you have an amazing day. Happy birthday. Just to personalize that. Or say, hey, and I noticed that you've actually moved positions since we last spoke, or you started a new career since we last spoke. How's that going? Just being human and not being robotic and just doing the default. And that will spark off conversations nonstop. So if we go to the next slide, these are some rookie mistakes that people make. So on LinkedIn, your LinkedIn URL. So if you go to the top of your LinkedIn profile, on the top right, it gives you an opportunity to click on the link that says, edit my public profile. And if you've got lots of numbers after your LinkedIn URL, that basically means you've got the default LinkedIn URL and you haven't personalized that. The next thing is, LinkedIn profiles. I've come across this on a regular basis where people have multiple profiles. And in today's day and age, it's okay to have multiple hats. If you look at my profile, you've got me running my security company there. I do my LinkedIn coaching. I do business coaching. I do lots of voluntary work. And all of that is in one profile. Now, it is against the LinkedIn terms and conditions to have multiple profiles. And, if you want to bring them all together, if you've got 1, 2, or 3, all you have to do is go into the LinkedIn help section and just type the word merge, and it will actually give you step-by-step instructions on how to bring your profiles together, bring all your contacts, all your recommendations into one place. So something very simple. The other thing is your LinkedIn photograph. LinkedIn isn't designed so that when you sign up, you only ever have one chance to add your LinkedIn photograph. How many people haven't updated their photograph since they first joined LinkedIn? I recently spoke to somebody, had a look at their LinkedIn photograph, and I was like, and then I went onto a Zoom and it wasn't what I was expecting. And I thought, oh, okay, hold on, who is this? And they went, oh yeah, I haven't updated my profile picture since 2007. And I thought, why? So LinkedIn, the photograph side of things, take advantage, go and update. There's nothing saying that you can't change it. There's no LinkedIn police that's going to come and hunt you if they don't like your picture. You can always go and edit it and update it. I update mine every 2 or 3 months, purely just to stay consistent and let people know what's happening, and people notice. The other thing is your LinkedIn banner. Now, if you go and look on my banner as an example, it will give you some basic instructions, but your LinkedIn banner is it's prime real estate. I mean, it's advertising space that you would pay a fortune for on any other website. So, go and utilize that, have some fun with it. There are places like Canva that you can go and get free LinkedIn banners. It takes you 2 seconds just to update and change the text. So take the time to do that. The next thing is, and this is something that's really important, is your LinkedIn headline. Now, the reason this is so important for me is because that follows you everywhere. Whether you're on a LinkedIn tablet, whether you're on, a LinkedIn tablet, on a tablet on LinkedIn, or you're on a mobile, or you're on PC, the first 40 characters follow you everywhere. So if you look at the example, this is a post that I got tagged in, and you can see clearly the person's name there. You can see what they do, and then you can see the comment. Now, your photograph, your headline, and your title that's going to follow you everywhere. So you want to make sure your photograph, your name, and your title, your headline are up to date. And if you comment on somebody's post, somebody can look at it and go, oh wow, actually, that person brings a lot of value. Maybe I should reach out to them. Or you see Janet, sales expert, straight away she works in sales, so maybe Janet can help me. So very, very basics, but these are the ones that you really, really need to look out for. Next slide, Janet, and then I'm handing back to you. So for me, this is something a lot of people think content is such hard work, but the reality is, not everybody gets to see every single one of your posts, and repurposing content is such an easy thing to do. So I'm just going to give you a very quick example of this. Is what I call Mac's 5-post cycle. And if you look at Monday to Friday as 5 different topics, so you might have top tips for Tuesday as an example, but on a Tuesday you might do 5 top tips, and you do it in a carousel or a PDF post where you have tip 1 on page 1, tip 2 on page 2, tip 3 on page 3, and you finish off with a call to action on your last page. And you send that out, and you ask people to give you some comments on what works for them. And then the following week, you can go back to that post, and you can do a 30 to 60-second video and say, hey, last week I did this post on my 5 top tips. These are the 2 top tips that stood out for people. And people can get to see your face, hear your voice, see your facial expressions, and build a relationship with you virtually. And then, the next week you can go and do a text post about the same thing, because remember, people buy in different ways. I'm a very visual person, so I tend to buy, if I see images or if I see videos, then that grabs my attention. If I see a text post, maybe not so much. But people that are analytical, they will go and they will read that post as long as there is value in that post. And then using images and text, and then doing a poll to your audience and asking them questions, what they'd like to see, or asking them what their experience has been with somebody. There is so much you can do, and you just recycle that with each one of your daily topics. And you could actually have one topic for the next 5 weeks, just repurposed in different formats. So if you could imagine how easy that will make your life, rather than having to do too much on top of that. Janet, I'm going to hand back to you. I feel like I've been talking for a month. please tell me if we're adding any value in the comments. If I'm just muttering away.
Frederick's been giving feedback, and so I think you're hitting the spot, Mac. Don't worry. Okay, so thank you for that. Now I'm probably going to be mentioning some of the things that Mac mentioned too, because they're spot on. But let's kick off with successful outreach messages. So Mac talked about connecting. This isn't about connecting. This is, what do you do once you're connected? How do you reach out to your ideal customer in a way that gets them to respond? So let's first of all address the elephant in the room. How many of you, just in the chat, how many of you have received these awful generic text messages on LinkedIn? Just put a yes if you have. And why don't we like them? Well, we can tell that it's not personalized. We can tell that they're being lazy. We can tell that they haven't really gone to any trouble. It's just like Mac was saying with the happy birthday message. They haven't really gone to very much trouble, have they? And we don't like them, and we just glaze over them. So we all know we don't like receiving those generic messages. So anybody in the room, do not send them out. And I liken it to this. You wouldn't ask someone to marry you on a first date. And it's the same with sales. In fact, it's more of a marketing technique. A lot of people think it's bad selling. It's not bad selling. It's bad marketing. It's reaching out to people. Like Max said, you wouldn't believe how many people come to me and go, "Oh, I specialize in helping coaches sell more." Whoopee. Congratulations. You haven't read my profile. I'm not interested. And I've got some examples of bad outreach messages, and I'm sure you've had some like this too. These people, it was literally connect and pitch, connect and pitch, connect and pitch. And what do you think happens? Honestly, have any of you ever gone, "Oh yes, I really must buy that thing that they're pitching me, even though I don't know them and I didn't ask for it"? Of Of course not. So don't do it to anyone else, because it doesn't work and it's annoying. I block people who do that because the LinkedIn algorithm will learn that if people are using it inappropriately, and it will block them and it will restrict their reach. So it is worth it. You kind of got to police LinkedIn a little bit yourself. But yeah, I'll block them. I'm not mucking around. I will block them. So I've got some tips for successful outreach messages. So the first thing is, don't use artificial intelligence or bots. Why? Well, if you look at this picture, it's a screen grab from my inbox. Now, in my headline, I have set it up so that there is a phone in front of my name. You know, I'm a sales trainer, so using the phone is part of what I do. So it was quite a good emoji. But I've set it up so that my first name doesn't read Janet, it reads telephone Janet Ferre, and then my surname reads sales trainer. And what happens is, when people use artificial intelligence or software to scrape names and connect with hundreds of people in a go, the software can't read telephone Janet Ferre properly. So instead of going, hi Janet, it does this. So I know that these are not real people. And again, it enables me to not connect with them. So that's one of the reasons I've got my profile set up like it is. So what else can you do? Well, the opposite of using artificial intelligence and scraping names is being personal. What is the thing all of us can do so easily? It's use their name. Hi, Janet. Hi, John. Hi, Fred. Who's on the call? Hi, Karen. Hi, Sam. You use their name. People's attention pops up straight away. And like Max said, you can also use information about them that they like. You know, do they like dogs? Do they like golf? Do they climb mountains? Do they visit Spain? What do they do? Personalize it if you can. Or maybe they've commented on your post, or maybe they've put something in their post. I liked what you said about blah, 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 because that makes you human and not artificially intelligent. I don't even know if that's a verb. I think I tried to turn it into a verb and it didn't work, but I'm sure you understand what I mean. Right. This is important. Focus on them. I'm sorry to tell you this, but no one cares about you. No one. Well, maybe your family and your friends do. But these people on LinkedIn do not care about you. You're not on their radar. All right. They're not interested in you. They're only interested in what you can do for them, which is the abbreviation I've got in there. What's in it for me? That's all they care about. It's not because they're bad people. It's because, like you, they're busy. Nobody sits at home going, ooh, I do hope someone rings me and tries to sell me something, right? Never has that ever happened in the history of the world. So you've got to focus on them. Focus on their pain points, how you can help them solve their pain points. What else? Well, it's about relationships first. So it goes back to, would you ask me to marry you on a first date? You got to warm things up a bit. That's why when you meet someone new, you can talk about the weather or the traffic or what was on TV last night. That's called rapport building. And then you start to get to know them better. Oh, Bill says they get your name wrong too. Oh, Bill, what your surname? I wouldn't have thought Bill was that hard. But then again, nothing surprises me now. So remember, it's about building relationships. It's not about numbers. It's not about spamming people to death. It's about picking the good ones and having a relationship with them. All right. Now, the second part of what I'm touching on is how to take clients off LinkedIn. Now, when I say clients, technically I mean prospects, because you're probably dealing with your clients anyway. But why should you do that? Well, to some extent, you're vulnerable on LinkedIn because it's a social media platform. What if someone hacked your account? What if you misbehaved? I'm sure you're all very good, but LinkedIn can sometimes put you in LinkedIn prison or stop you for a bit. How are you going to access all these people? So you need to get them off LinkedIn. So I've got 3 tips to do that. So the first, well, basically, this is all about making it easy for people to contact you. So on my profile, if you look on the screen, there's a new feature where you can include a link to your website underneath your name and headline. And on mine, I've made it the link to my diary. All right, so that's the first way that people can get in touch with you. The second thing you should be really hot on is your contact information. Now, so many times I look on someone's contact information, they've got their personal email, not their work email, and no other way to get in touch. Now, look here, I've circled 4 things. Okay, I've circled my website, I've got a link to my diary again, got my phone number, and finally I've got my direct work email. Now there's some social media bits on there, Twitter and Facebook, but I don't really want them to go onto another social media platform. I'm allowing them to engage with me using the medium they prefer the best. And then the third way I make it easy for them to contact me is in my About section, which for a lot of you, Mac alluded to at the beginning, if you've got your About section set up like a CV, you're not really doing yourself any favours. It should be a sort of almost an advertisement or a chance to showcase what you do. So right at the bottom of my About section, again, I tell them how to contact me. Now, it's not clickable in the About section, but nevertheless, it gives the information. So I have the link to my diary, I have my phone number, and then I also have my email address. So I'm making it easy for people to contact me. And I've also added a call to action there. So, you know, contact me by or ring me on. So I hope that makes sense. All right, then. So what about the actual sales conversation? All right, you got them off LinkedIn. Now what are you going to do? Right, first of all, I'm a sales trainer. I am telling you, do not aspire to have a sales conversation, because no one wants a sales conversation. They just want a conversation. Why is that important? Right, see this image of this fella? When I Google salesman, this is the second image that comes up. Bizarrely, the first image is Jesus, but the second image is this, followed by quite a lot of other sleazy looking types. And the problem is, this is what people think of sales people. So you actually don't really want to be thinking, I want to sell something. You need to be thinking, I want to build rapport. I want to start a conversation. So how do you do that? First of all, you react and you comment on their posts. Mac told you, you've got to react thoughtfully. That's interesting, doesn't cut it. Fred, I like what you said about blah, 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 because, or that was an insightful post. My view is you're contributing. You should send them a connection request. Max told you how to do that. Reference their posts if you can. Now you can set an alert to see more of their posts. I don't know if you knew you could do this. Those of you who've got the free version, you could only really do this through LinkedIn Sales Navigator before. But LinkedIn, there's a little bell, just like with other social media. So this is Max. And if you click on that bell, you'll receive a notification every time that person posts. So if there are people you're targeting, that's a quick way to see their posts. All right, but what do you actually say? Now, this can be the bit that trips people up. So I'm going to give you a structure. Now, we're going to go into this in more detail. At the end of this web class, we're going to talk to you about an intensive course that you can do. And as Max said, there's a special offer for some of you. So this is a snapshot, but we'll go into this in a lot more detail. So if you've been engaging, people will remember you. So here's a structure you can use at the point you want to reach out. So hi, name, because we're personalizing it. Great to be connected. Then you get specific about who you're talking to. So let's say my ideal client's often sales director, head of talent, something like that. So typically sales directors come to me because they are frustrated or worried by. And then I'd talk about 3 pain points. And then I'd lead with a powerful question. So I'm going to give you an example of what this might sound like. And this is for my ideal clients who are business owners who want to get more, basically get more sales. So this is how it would go. My mystery potential customer is called Sarah. So using this structure, I would say something like, hi, Sarah, it's great to be connected. Typically, business owners come to me because they're frustrated by getting leads but not being able to close them, paying for marketing which doesn't convert, And because they're convinced they're missing opportunities but don't want to be pushy or sleazy to win sales. Now, you'll probably say that none of this applies to you, but how confident are you about your ability to generate the sales you need over the next year or so? So you see what I've done there? I've used this structure to create an outreach message, which I could send as a text. But here's the thing. We know most people are getting too many texts. We know they're ignoring the texts. And in sales, what I say is, if everybody's doing one thing, you should be doing something else. So this is what you should be doing. You should be using voice and video messages. Now, when we had this webinar set up, those of you who I was connected to as a first degree connection, I sent you a voicemail message. There may be some of you here now. And it wasn't a sales message. It was just, hi, you're coming on the webinar. Really looking forward to seeing you. Something like that. Very short. It's about being human. Those I weren't connected with, I had to send a text message. So it's easy to send voice and video messages. Let's take voice messages first. The way to send a voice message, and you have to do it through your phone, is you look at, see where the search bar is. To the right of it, there's three little dots. You click on that and it pulls up the message part of on your phone. And then down the bottom where it says write a message, can you see on the right hand side there's a little microphone? All you got to do is hold it and press, and you can record a message. So that's how to do a voicemail message. But the Rolls Royce that you want to be aiming for is to send a video message, because no one does that. Oh, Renee's just put a comment. Yeah, I liked your voice message. I thought it was really nice and personal. Yeah, I'm not trying to flog you anything, Renee. I just, I want to make sure you're okay and you hadn't forgotten the course. I want to show you, hey, I'm a nice, approachable person. I've got no other agenda than that. And it's different. It stands out. But video really stands out because no one's using it yet. Out of all the connections I get, all the connection requests I get, all the pitches I get, only one person has used video ever. And she's not doing it properly. She's recording it in advance and sending out the same message to everyone. So remember the rules, personalize. You can create a personalized message, and this is how you do it. So here on the left-hand side, the red circle, on the right is the little microphone for a voicemail. On the left, you see the plus. If you press the plus, this screen comes up, this screen here. And can you see video? You press that and you can record a video message. And you can use the structure that I just went through with you. Doesn't matter if it's a text message, a voicemail, or a video. Because if everybody else is doing one thing, you want to be doing something else. All right, Mac, now I feel like I've been talking for a long time. So I'm going to move on to the next slide. And this is, why have Mac and I got the credibility to even talk about stuff like this? Well, these are some of the people I've worked with over the last 9 years or so while I've been a sales trainer. And here are some of the people that Mac's worked with. Do you want to just give them a break from me for 30 seconds, Mac? Tell them a bit about who you work with.
So, yeah, I mean, Janet, you've hit so many different topics, and I love the fact that you've just given a blow-by-blow screenshot example, because I find a lot of people talk through these things, and unfortunately, do us a favor in the comments, if you don't always find LinkedIn intuitive and simple to use, throw that in the comments and let us know even examples that you may have come across. So, for me, the one thing that was really difficult was the hashtags. It doesn't say click here to edit as an example. So it's a process, but we go through all those things, and Janet and I will be going into some of that detail on our masterclass. But the type of people that I typically work with I work with anybody that's entrepreneurs, people that really are already an expert in their own field, but they're just not getting their voices heard on LinkedIn. And at the beginning of the pandemic, that for me was quite an eye-opening amount of people, because I noticed a lot of people that when they walk into a boardroom or into a stage, they would have people in the palm of their hands, and then all of a sudden they go on LinkedIn, put something amazing out content-wise, and it would be, it would say at the bottom, things like be the first to comment. And I think these are experts. Why is this happening? And it's because of these minor little changes that, unfortunately, had they known those, they would be getting so much better reach and engagement and clients as well. The other thing that I would suggest is, the other thing that I do is work with corporate clients and universities as well, for making sure that people are educated. There's so many senior executives that just clued up on where they need to be when it comes to how to use LinkedIn properly. So if you're in that boat, feel free to reach out and connect as well. Janet, I'm going to head back to you.
Cool. Okay. I've put up a couple of recommendations for both of us. Now, all of you listening, the gold star on LinkedIn is to get recommendations. That's what you want to aim for. I know I've got work in the past because I've got tons of recommendations. So get in the habit of asking. Now, this was one. Charles, I trained their entire global sales team on social sellings because their social sellings, what's that? On social selling, after their global head of sales found me. I didn't know she existed because she'd put her profile on blocked and you can't reach me because she's fed up with all these messages. She found me because my profile was positioned properly. This is a great example. This is someone I know through networking, Dee. Now, she operates in a world where almost every inquiry starts with, how much would it cost? So we put together a really simple strategy to get her converting those calls. Now, she did this lovely recommendation for me, and I said, but how much has it increased? So there's me sending the message. Well, how much has it increased? 10% more, 50% more, because I want to share it. And she went a decent 50%. So since I started working with her, I've helped her convert 50% more inquiries. Mac, I've got a couple of yours.
Let me click over here. So, this is an example. Suzanne Gordon-Brown, she's an incredible woman, works in HR. And when I first met her, she wasn't sure on how to approach LinkedIn. And this is one of the things I find a lot of my clients, ironically, are kind of 40 plus. The whole digital shift has kind of taken them by surprise, and they didn't really know where to start with LinkedIn. And we've taken them from basically going from not having a clue on profile to getting their profile up to speed, helping them with the content strategies and outreach strategies so that they get results. Suzanne's a phenomenal HR person. If you go and check out her profile now, she comes across, and you can see she's much more professional on LinkedIn. She's easy to be found, and her reach has increased as well. I think you've got one more in there. So this one as an example, Tahina is an incredible life force as she works for the London College of Fashion and the University of Arts for London. And to give you an example, this was all the things we spoke about today. Had I not done all those things on my own profile, she would never have found me. So because I'd gone and put the work that I've done with other universities and colleges in my experience section, in my volunteer section, when she landed on my profile, she knew that I already speak to the people that she needs training for. And when I got called out to go out and I did the training with them, the engagement was through the roof, because giving people an opportunity to find a way to work with their dream companies and having a strategy to do that, whether that's you as an entrepreneur wanting to work with your dream clients or as an employee wanting to work with your dream company, those are the things we went through. And it was amazing how literally within hours of doing the course with them, I was getting comments on LinkedIn how they were already getting engagement from certain organizations, and they've now become an incredible group of people that I'm following to watch their progress on in their careers and starting these fashion businesses or working with some of the very big fashion names out in the industry. So again, you just don't know where that's going to go. So make sure you get your profile up to date, your content speaks to what you do, and then the outreach that will be inbound as well.
Thank you, Mac. All right, so there's some of you sitting here going, well, look, Mac and Janet, they seem to know what they're talking about, but I can do this myself. So I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever been in the situation where you say need to do a bit of DIY at home, and maybe you wanted to save money to do a fix yourself, slightly outside your skill sets, but you thought, I'll give it a go? A bit like this here, when Donna Newbury's husband tried to hang up their sparkly new light fitting above the TV. Little did he know that moments later it would come crashing down, taking out both the TV and the glass cabinet in the process. We've all done it. We've said, I'll do it myself. I can do it. But does it really work out? The question for you is, if you were to work out all these things by yourself on LinkedIn, two things: how many mistakes will you make, and how much will it cost you in time to get it right? So this is where we can help. We said we'd have something to share with you, and it is our intensive workshop, how to get leads, follow them up, and then close them. We're running it on the 7th of September. It's a 2-hour workshop, all on Zoom, and this is what you need to know. So the standard price for it is £79. We've got an early bird price, but do you remember Max said we had a giveaway? Right, so the giveaway is this. The first 10 people to enroll, and this is the first time we've talked about this, so if you're on this webinar, you qualify for this. The first 10 people to enroll will only pay £29. And as a special offer, how have we done it, Mac, in the end? Have we got a link that we're putting in the chat for them?
So I'm literally about to share the link now. Now the link, effectively, what I've decided, instead of just doing that kind of standard discount code and making it complicated for people, I've literally listed the ticket price at £29, and that's going to run until the end of the weekend. And then from then, it's going to go up to £49. And then the last 2 weeks before the event, it will go to the standard price of £79.
All right, there you go. So it is a considerable discount off of what both Mac and I charge. But that's because we want to, yeah, massively. I'm not even telling you what I charge corporates. But it's really important because this to us, we're both really passionate about LinkedIn. I get my best customers from it. In fact, I had an inquiry today. I'm going to tell you about it after, Mac. Gorgeous, gorgeous inquiry. Now, if you enroll, Mac is going to give you a free cheat sheet. What's on the cheat sheet, Mac?
Oh, the cheat sheet is, to give you an idea, it's over 2,000 hours of my own research that I did to try and figure out why LinkedIn worked for some and not for others. And I go through profile tips, content tips, and outreach tips on there that will save you, as I said, a lot of hours, and help you just get things right a lot quicker.
And will they get that straight away, or is it part of the training? Oh, have you muted yourself again?
Okay, no, I just lost sound for a second.
Okay, yeah, I was just saying, the cheat sheet, do they get it straight away, or do they get it just before the web class? How does it work?
So, good question. I'll tell you what I'll do. Anybody that has signed up by the end of play tomorrow, I will, because they through Eventbrite, I will send them or what, in fact, let's make it easier. If you've registered, go and send me a DM on LinkedIn or a connection request and say, I've done it, and I will respond with the cheat sheet, and I'll send it to you directly myself.
There you go. And I know how much Mac has put into this, because he's absolutely, you remember that thing called lockdown? He devoted his life to LinkedIn during lockdown, so there's terrific stuff in that. So what if you do nothing? Well, yeah, you could do nothing, but it's only 29 quid, and it could transform how you use LinkedIn. I get my biggest customers off LinkedIn. Not only are they my biggest customers, they're usually the best fit, so they're easiest to close. And this will appeal to you. Usually, because the fit is so good, we don't even have the price conversation, and they don't try and negotiate. So look, if you don't take action now on the thing that you want or need, you probably never will. I mean, what's the difference between clicking now and clicking in 3 days? Well, the price goes up. So do it. If you think you want it, do it. It's only £29. And if you've ever had that nagging feeling, particularly recently, that you're losing sales opportunities, and the chances are you came on here because not everything is quite right for you, will it really serve you to wait until the next time we do this, or until the price goes up, when you could be getting strategies straight away, including that cheat sheet? So just something for you to think about. Just in case you're still worried, Mac and I both operate on the same basis, that if you're not 100% happy, you just get your money back. Why do we offer that? Because hardly anyone ever asks for it. So that's just to reassure you. Do the training, come back and say, look, it didn't work for me, or you didn't say you did what you thought, you didn't hear what we thought we'd hear. No quibble, you just get your money back. So what I'm going to ask you to do now then is, if you know you want to do it, just click on the Eventbrite link and book it. Have we got Joanne on here today, Mac?
Yes,
oh, yeah, Joanne's on here. Okay.
Joanne's already commented on there. Click on the link.
Perfect. Okay, now, if you're thinking, no, that's fine. We don't mind. We understand. But if you're thinking, well, I might be interested, but I need more information, this is what I'd like you to do, please. Message Joanne directly, or you can message me or Mac on LinkedIn, and then we'll just have a chat with you and go through whatever it is that you want to ask. But what we don't want to do is be contacting you if you're not interested. If you are interested, we want to help you to enroll straight away. And if you've just simply got questions, then of course we'll have a chat with you. So I just want to recap so you know what you're dealing with here. You qualify for the £29 bonus as a special offer. Secure your place by booking it on Eventbrite right now. You get your free cheat sheet. And just as a sort of final thought before we go into the Q&A, I do love a quote. The best investment you can make is an investment in yourself. The more you learn, the more you earn. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Mac, for the Q&A.
Excellent stuff. Well, folks, if you've got any questions and you want to drop them into the comments box, please do so. Bill Bryan, well done. He's already commented and said that he's already booked his place. Look at that, fast off the mark. So well done.
It's probably because you called him Bill and not Brian. I read your comment.
How many people call him Brian? And he's just confirmed, by done I do mean booked. So yes. Excellent stuff. Well,
and I just want to give a shout out to Renee. Actually, she had the most terrible. I mean, you worked hard to get it, didn't you, Renee? I mean, I messaged her and she said, I don't think I registered, but then we sorted that out. And then I think you had a power cut as well. So credit to you, Renee, for coming on here. Well done.
Awesome stuff. Well, one of the things to remember is this is available on replay. So if you want to share that with anybody that may find this useful, please just go and tag them in the comments so that they can come and find access to this and they can watch the replay. And those people will also, as Janet mentioned, the first 10 people or the end of the weekend, whichever comes first. I'm going to assume it's going to probably be the first 10 that will take that away, and it won't reach the weekend before it goes to the 49. Let's throw in any comments. If there's anything that you found was useful to you, if anything stood out specifically that you're going to take away and actually take action on, drop that into the comments as well. Janet, what else should we be asking?
I would say please connect with us as well. And now you know how to set alerts for our posts. We are regular posters. And also, I'm going to encourage everybody who is here, why don't you, if you know how to do it, copy and paste your URL from your LinkedIn profile, or if you know how to put your QR code in, do it. And then we can connect with each other in the room, because that's always a nice bonus when you come out of a web class like this. So I'd encourage you, if you know your URL, pop it in. I might do mine actually while we're here.
Excellent stuff. So I know there are some people watching on YouTube and on Facebook as well. So please, go and connect with those people that are watching, because guaranteed they're like-minded people that are wanting to grow and build their businesses on LinkedIn. And you just know, my motto is you never know where a conversation may lead. So, just reach out, start a conversation and see what happens.
I've just realized that when we're running the web class, Mac, I can't actually post my URL in the chat. I can't get into the chat, so I won't be doing that. Okay.
I will drop yours in there now.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
No problems at all. Me just multitask here very
quickly,
well done, so I'll leave over to you.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, we'll connect with you. Thank you, Bill, who I'm really tempted to call Brian now. That's naughty of me, isn't it?
Just to rub salt in the wounds, yeah. It's okay. I've been called all kinds of weird and wonderful things. So just as for those of you who don't know this, if you go onto your mobile device and you click Edit Profile, there's actually a little speaker button and you can add the pronunciation of your name in there. So if you go onto my profile and you click your little speaker, it will give you 10 seconds and you can see an example of how to use that effectively as well. Okay, so let's get Janet's profile. There we go.
Thank you very much. So any other questions from anybody or any big takeaways? It's for us, it's really good if you can share what's been the best takeaway for you, because when we do future webinars, obviously we want to make it really relevant. So even if it's just one thing that you've learned or one thing that's new or one thing you could try, that is super helpful. I mean, if not, it's fine. You can always message us later. But we genuinely appreciate you being here, because we know it's an hour or so out of your day, and you've been good. You've interacted. You got here. You persevered.
Excellent stuff. Well, I'm just having a look if there are any other questions. I know there's a slight delay, so it's a little bit of it looks a little bit weird because it's we'll speak and then we just sit there and wait and watch the screen for a few seconds delays. Okay. I'm not seeing any other questions or anything else come through. So yeah, if you haven't hit the like button or the thumbs up or the heart button yet on this, just to let us know that you've taken some value. Frederick, thank you so much. It was great. Good to see that you got some value.
See, I've never met Frederick, but he's in a fellow sales trainers group that I'm with. So Frederick, we need to have one-to-one. Need to find out more about you. I like your posts.
There we go. Nice one from Sam there as well. I love the personalization of the message part.
There's a name for you, Mac. I know how to pronounce his surname because he taught me. Do you want to have a go at pronouncing Sam's surname?
Marui?
That's pretty close, actually. The way I remember it is it's marrowy, as in like a marrow.
Ah.
Did I get that right, Sam? Okay, Frederick, I'll message you. Yeah, let's sort something out. I'd really like to find out more about you.
Excellent stuff. Well, hey, I look forward to connecting with all of you in the audience that have attended today, and I look forward to hearing more about what you take away, put into action, and come back and just let us know, how that's impacted you and what change that's made. That little voice memo side of things is just so powerful. I did this a couple of months ago, or I do it on a regular basis, but I did it to somebody a few months ago where I literally just sent them a quick message going, hey, just want to say thank you so much for reaching out and connecting. I noticed you posted about XYZ and I found that quite interesting. And the next day I noticed I got tagged in a post and I thought, who was that? Because I'd only just met her once via the DMs. And the next day she did this post about voice messaging going, oh my God, I didn't know that I could do voice messaging on LinkedIn. This is incredible. Thanks, Mac, for your message. And I thought, wow. And that's how much of an impact it can make. Yeah. Because people are just not used to it. And, when people hear your voice or they see your face, this is where you build that rapport without even having to be there. It's all part of that building a relationship journey. Excellent stuff. Janet, any other comments or questions before we wrap up? Because we are looking forward to seeing everybody on the 7th of September.
I'm just going to say, share the fact that we've got an event coming up, and we'll be doing another one of these, won't we, Mac?
Absolutely.
And we'll be hopefully sharing even more content. So spread the word, tell people about us, spread the love, and we'll appreciate it. Thank you.
Excellent stuff. Well, Janet, thank you for eventually getting to a stage where you and I are actually doing something together.
We've known each other like nearly 3 years now, haven't we?
It's mad. And just to give everybody a bit of an example, so Janet and I met via LinkedIn in 2020.
Beginning of lockdown, wasn't it?
Right in the beginning of lockdown. And we only physically met each other, about 2 months ago?
I know, And it's like, I know you.
And I feel like I've known Janet for years, and I consider us friends because of the fact that we chat on WhatsApp, we chat on LinkedIn, we now have attended a few mutual networking events, but it's amazing. And even the person who's doing some of our tech in the background was introduced to me by Janet, the famous Joel Felsenstein, who's
Joel's awesome.
You've got to go and check out Rockstar X and the mission the man is on. He's an absolute gem, and I think the world needs to watch the space for what he's about to do. So lots of exciting things to come. But there's magic to happen on LinkedIn. You just need to go out and take action. So I wish everybody an incredible day. Thank you so much for joining us. Janet, over to you. Final goodbye.
Just thank you very much, everyone, and appreciate you taking the time. Take care.
Cheers, everybody. Have a great day.